Alrighty, guys, we're back for Boros Mobilize, and this is a Dragonstorm Standard brew, and I'm Red Cat. Let's briefly go over the deck, then hop right into some ranked. But first things first, this was a suggestion over in the Discord, so thank you so much for the suggestion. It's gonna be a fun one. We have all four Voice of Victory. It's a 2-mana 1/3 rockin' Mobilize 2, which means whenever this creature attacks, create 2 tapped and attacking 1/1 Red Warrior creature tokens. Unfortunately, you have to sacrifice them at the beginning of the next end step, which is fine and dandy because that's still a pretty darn good ability. Also packed onto Voice of Victory is your opponents can't cast spells during your turn. That ought to come in handy, right? So we also have 4 Stadium Headliners. This is a 1 red mana 1/1 with Mobilize 1, and then also on this card for 1 and a red, sacrifice this creature. It deals damage equal to the number of creatures you control to target creature. Cool stuff. Pairing well with all these Mobilize abilities is going to be cards like Impact Tremors. 2 mana enchantment whenever a creature you control enters. This enchantment deals 1 damage to each opponent. Now, very similar concept to Impact Tremors is Warleader's Call. 3 of them in here. Has the exact same ability as Impact Tremors, but also creatures you control get +1/+1. The reason that there's only 3 though is because it does cost a little bit more than Impact Tremors, but honestly, I could see 4 of these in here easily, but I wanted to make sure I had enough room for these other top end enchantments. Feels funny calling them top end, but Windcrag Siege is a 3 mana enchantment. Rockin' Boros colors up there. As it enters, you choose Mardu or Jeskai. Now, if you choose Mardu, if a creature attacking causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. Okay, so we probably choose Mardu if we already have some established mobilized creatures, right? Other than that, we're probably going to be choosing Jeskai. And if you choose Jeskai at the beginning of your upkeep, create a 1/1 red goblin creature token. It gains lifelink and haste until end of turn. That's cool. I'm interested to see how much this is actually going to do today. And we also have 3 Caretaker's Talent 2, the main card draw of the build. Level 2 comes in handy, level 3 comes in handy. Should be excellent in here. Another one where it's a little weird not having all 4 of them. Now that's a lot of non-creature, non-land permanents. That's why we got United Battlefront here on the actual top end of the build. 3 of them packed in. It's a 4 mana sorcery. Look at the top 7 cards of your library. That's a chunk of cards, dude. Put up to 2 non-creature, non-land permanent cards with mana value 3 or less from among them onto the battlefield. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So if you hit any of your if you hit 2 of any of your 3 drops, wow, that's hard to say. Then you're going to be pretty happy. You see like double Warleader's Call. Oh my goodness, dude, that's disgusting. But even if you just see a couple Impact Tremors or an Impact Tremors and I don't know, Windcrag Siege, like any combination of your non-creature, non-land permanents, you're probably going to be pretty happy about that. We do have other cards packed in specifically to work well with the Battlefront. Like our choice spot removal is actually Glass Casket, which should do the thing and do it nicely, especially against mice, since it is an exile one, right? Now we do have Authority of Consuls here too to slow down those hyper-aggressive deck lists, but also this deck list is trying to bridge the gap between aggro and mid-range, and I think we'll totally be able to do the mid-range thing outside of like board wipes or something, right? We should actually be able to establish quite an engine. But we'll see, huh? Now we also have Hinterland Sanctifier. Whenever another creature you control enters, you gain 1 life. Again, I am seeing a lot of the hyper-aggressive deck lists, so hopefully this helps us stick around a little bit longer. We also have a couple Frontline Rushes too, just because slamming more creatures onto the board is good. At instant speed, that's also good, but then also has a bottom ability. If you don't choose the top ability, you can choose this bottom one where target creature gets +X/+X until end of turn, where X is the number of creatures you control. So you could potentially plug that onto like an unblocked warrior, since the mobilized warriors are less likely to be blocked because the opponent's gonna thinks that they're gonna be sacrificed at the end anyways, right? So maybe you can boost that and get lethal damage through that way. We'll see, though. We'll see. How about the mana base? A lot of fast land over here. We got a couple Battlefield Forge, hopefully not punishing us too much with pain. And we got 4 Vantage, 4 of the Sunbillow Verge, and a couple of Fabled Passage, too. Also, a couple of Dalkovan Encampments here. Hopefully not slowing down the deck list too much. However, we do have 24 total mana. Again, I'm trying to bridge that gap between aggro and mid-range. I do think that this deck list wants to see mana almost every single turn, and when we miss it, we're probably going to be a little bit sad. We'll talk more about my decisions for the mana base in the final thoughts, though. We got a lot of honorable mentions over here. Duskrose Reliquary almost made the cut. Invasion of Gabakhan, Sheltered by Ghosts almost made the cut. Dalkovan Pack Beast has mobilized 3, which is kind of cool, man. Urabrask Forge almost made the cut. A top-end Elspeth Stormslayer, maybe as like a one-of, could be pretty cool. I did consider Restless Bivouac for this deck list too. Just kind of a gut feeling. Didn't make the cut this time around, though. Okay, guys, I do my dandiest to save the more in-depth discussion for the end of the video, so I look forward to that. In the meantime, let's go ahead, take this into some ranked, see how we do. All right, right into that first game. What am I expecting from the build? I'm expecting a lot, man, but I don't know. I don't know. Am I allowed expecting a lot? Like, I have no idea. Opponent goes first. Right. So, if we were going first and we had like that extra turn, that extra turn of, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is. The extra comfort turn. You know what? I'm just going to try it. Okay, Evolving Adaptive. Wow, that's one we don't see very often. All right. Caretaker's talent isn't terrible, but how many turns of setup do we have? Wow, Beast Caller, dude, opponent. Let's go, dude. Oh, Sanctifier would have been a much better draw last turn, so we could actually have gotten it down on time. But this is fine. We're going to stick to the plan. We're going to curve out properly. Llanowar Elves luckily doesn't boost the adaptive. Oh, but the Beast Caller getting double boosted on this turn with double Llanowar Elves. Dude, we're in so much danger. Okay, luckily we won't have to take pain to get the Windcrag Siege down, but honestly, dude, maybe we should just get Impact Tremors number 2 and Sanctifier so we can chump the Beast Caller. Nah, we'll stick to the plan. If we die, we die. It is what it is, huh? At that point, we know I should have dropped the mulligan. But honestly, ooh, dude, oh, Bloated Contaminator, yep, boost the adaptive as well. This is 10 coming through. Honestly, I'm just glad they didn't drop 2 more Llanowar Elves. Okay, well, not a lot we can do. The opponent really did the stompy thing and did it well, huh? I'm impressed, opponent. Is there anything? I don't see anything. You guys see anything? I don't see anything. I guess like this could be okay. Like Caretaker's talent, then copy the Goblin, but it would also just make sense to just get the Sanctifier down too. We're going to be taking the one anyways, right? Oh no, guys. Oh no, the opponent went so fast. We'll let them swing on in because that's a pretty fun version of green. We don't see Adaptive often. We don't see Beast Caller often anymore either. Look at this. They're rocking the Bailiff too. Dude, nice. So maybe we could have potentially had one more turn had I actually went Sanctifier to chump the Beast Caller on the prior turn. But I don't know. I think the safest bet there in that game would have just been drop the mulligan, try to have some actual early turn plays too, right? Instead of just establishing Impact Tremors and stuff. Fun version of green from the opponent though, so it's hard to be sad about it. Anytime you see a different deck list from the opponent, you gotta be a little happy. You know what I mean? Like it's not more of the same. That's good news. That's a good thing. Oh, Glass Casket. See, that would have been excellent. Glass Casket would have picked up the Beast Caller easy peasy. Now no red source in hand, unfortunately, but like the opponent's going first. Do we care? We'll find a red source, right? We have We have a lot of red sources packed in. With the opponent going first, dude, I gotta be careful. We should keep these Glass Casket around. At least we can cast them. We cast everything in our hand except for the Impact Tremors until we find the red source, and I don't think we're gonna get punished. Hey, red source. Hi. Authority of Consuls. Alright, I don't like seeing that when the opponent's going first. We might be up against midrange, or a mono-white midrange. It would be a pretty brutal one, I think. Especially since they run Get Lost too, and we got a lot of enchantments that they would love to pop. Oh, Boros. Okay. Some kind of weird mirror match, maybe? I'm gonna... Which one would we rather them pick up? If we go Voice of Victory, it could get hit by a Lightning Helix. If we go Impact Tremors, of course, Get Lost, but same thing with the Voice. So I guess Impact Tremors doesn't get hit by Lightning Helix. Maybe they'll drop a Lightning Helix to our face. I'm trying to... We don't know what we're playing against, but I'm trying to think about what we're playing against a little bit here. So they decide nothing. Caretaker's Talent. So far, mirror match. But I'm pretty sure it's going to be different versions. It's funny. See, now this game, we actually have a chance for some setup. So, oh, but with 2 Voice of Victory, it wouldn't be terrible to go Mardu route on the Siege. But we should probably actually just go Jeskai route. It feels weird not establishing the Voice of Victories, but I'm trying to utilize all the mana, but also, like, getting the setup on the board is pretty nice. Yeah, no targets for the Glass Caskets is actually pretty brutal. After the opponent went first, I got so afraid because of the last game, you know? These Glass Caskets would have really helped out in the last one, but right now, no targets. Okay, they establish another talent and another Authority of Consuls. Actually, it's a good thing we have Impact. Well, they're going to be gaining 2 every time a creature enters. How the heck do we get around that, guys? Oh no. Oh no. That's really bad news, right? So we play Voice of Victory, they gain 2. We play Voice of Victory, they gain 2. Every time we swing with Voice of Victory, they gain 2. So we need our tokens to do more than 2. But right now they're only doing 2. Because of the one that's getting through and then the Impact Tremor. So we need another Tremors or more. Oh no, guys, why didn't I play around the board wipe? Oh no. Dude, we're in danger, bro. Oh, thank goodness. This will help us draw. Oh my goodness, that was a good draw, dude. And I'm gonna go for the draw this turn too. Copy the Goblin. They go up to 26 here. Or 25. Yeah, we need to cancel out the double authorities. Yeah, so definitely not a mirror match. They are full leaning into Boros midrange, I can only imagine, and they're feeling pretty safe. They're just going for the boost with the Caretaker's talent. See what we draw on our talent here. Hinterland Sanctifier. Oh, we need more damage dealers, man. We really do. All right. Let's upgrade our Caretaker's talent as well. Actually get some damage through. I don't know, man. This is going to be tricky. Because I don't think our Caretaker's talent has a chance of sticking around, too. I think Get Lost might exist in the opponent's deck list as a 4 of. Yeah, we can't utilize the haste because everything's coming in tapped. So far, our engine is really doing the thing, but we're not doing much past the engine. I might keep a lot of these creatures in hand, waiting for their second board wipe, because right now we do have a lot on the board, don't we? Yeah. Maybe I'll play Sanctifier, keep the double headliners back. Because at the very least, the mobilized creatures get the boost from the talent. The big question is our Caretaker's talent going to stick around? Okay, they do have a lightning helix. They go up to 24. Oh dear. What do we want to do here, guys? They got one card in hand. I'll play the Sanctifier. No, I'll establish one headliner. So they go up to 20. And then we have the mobilized token, hopefully for next turn. I keep forgetting that the Impact Tremors is doing that one too, which is great news. We also have Headliner's ability open, I guess. If they gave us a target. Mondrak. Oh my. We can't hit a Mondrak because once we sacrifice Headliner, we'll only have 3 creatures. Still, that's pretty cool. 2 very different yet kind of sort of similar Boros deck lists. It's interesting, man. It's interesting. Yeah, if Glass Casket was like a get lost, we could have popped one of the authorities. That would have been pretty nice, actually. Frontline Rush. We'll probably drop that at the end of the opponent's turn. Or we could plug the bottom ability onto something. Oh, second Impact Tremors. Oh, thank goodness, dude. Holy cow. Now that'll cancel out the authorities. Yeah, Glass Casket also not hitting the Mondrak here is a little bit brutal, but we could still, instead of letting the Mondrak block one of the 3/3s, we could swing with the Headliner. And then sacrifice the Headliner. Which wouldn't be terrible, right? So that should be 5 to the Mondrak. They don't have 2 other things here, so I think I might before the blocks, right? They go back down to 20. This is a weird one, man. This is a weird one. Instead of letting them block a 3/3, I think this is okay because we get 12 through and we put them on a clock for next turn. How do we feel about that? Also, getting the Mondrak off the board seems a little bit important before they do something significant with it. This Caretaker's talent, what an MVP. Meanwhile, the opponent missing token generation. They found another Lightning Helix, so they go up to 23. They take 9. We still have Frontline Rush open for the end of their turn as a little bit of a surprise, right? They'll gain 4 from the Frontline Rush. But they'll lose 4 because now we have double Impact Tremors. It's a lot to keep track of on this board, man. Alright, let's do this. Yeah, double tokens is better than the bottom ability since, well, number 1, they're not getting wiped off the board, but number 2, the boost from the Caretaker's talent is disgusting right now. I love that I kept a hand with 3 Glass Caskets, and I haven't been able to use a single one of them, dude. Holy cow. There's a Warleader's Call. There we go. Oh my goodness. Yeah, usually these little goblins coming in with haste would be doing a lot more, but Authority has been an MVP for the opponent. All right, the 4th Glass Casket. Nice, dude. That's so funny. All right, Warleader's Call, come on down. A Lightning Helix. They go up to 17, and they can still power up the Bivouac. Okay, these don't have haste, and them entering, we will finally start to get a damage above the authorities now that we have 3 of those on the board. Okay, so we have 2 more damage in hand then. We're not quite there. It looks like they are going to go for the chump, maybe. They are. They're in desperate need of some token generation to draw on the Caretaker's talent. Down to 4. Do we dump our hand for an extra 2 damage? Because they're gaining 2, losing 3. Yeah, it would just be an extra 2. I say no. They could top deck a Sunfall. Now, sure, the Windcrag Siege. Okay, they found mana. Oh my goodness. Lands, am I right? Good game, opponent. Good game. That was weird. That was a very weird one. And I had a lot of trouble actually keeping up with what was on the board state, even though there wasn't too much on the board at any given time. So, number 1, yeah, two very different versions of Boros, but kind of sort of similar. Like we also have authority. We also have Caretaker's talent. We're also doing the token thing. Well, we don't have Mondrak in here, of course, but they're leaning much heavier into the mid-range and triple lightning helix. I'd say, like, we can't say, wow, that's so lucky because they got to gain so much life. Realistically, what the opponent wanted to see, instead of 3 lightning helix, was a couple of these being some token generations. So that way the Caretaker's talent could actually just draw them into those excess lightning helixes anyways, right? And then also the extra tokens being extra chump blockers too. So I'd say we got a little lucky for sure. I think the opponent could have found much, much more, and their double Caretaker's talents would have completely run us over eventually. And there was like so many turns. Like they stalled us out for so many turns because of the double authority. We really do have to consider, if we see something like that again, some get lost. Now the get lost doesn't get picked up by our top end Battlefront. I don't know what the card name is right now. I'm sorry, guys. It takes me forever to learn the new card names. Opponent goes first. Glass Casket. Early Sanctifier. Dude, heck yeah. This is what the curve is supposed to look like. Eventually, we'll go first, too, which will just really, really send it home. I should have started with Vantage. I'm not really sure why I didn't. My Sanctifier. You monster. All right, well established voice, I guess. I guess it's probably going to die. Seeing that they spent 2 mana to remove our 1 mana thing probably just means they have more removal in hand. Sheoldred's Edict. Ew, hey. Hi, don't be a cut down. Okay, nice. Nice. Dude. 3rd mana, of course, would be amazing here. We do have 24 in here for a very good reason. Aww, opponent. Opponent. Okay, Rock Curse, nice. Oh, it was Battlefront. Yeah, United Battlefront. Yeah, we can't pick up, like, Get Lost with that, so... It's fine. We'll play the Glass Casket. I know that the Rock Curse sacrifices itself, but it like, 5 damage is a lot of damage, first of all, and there's a chance that they don't even sacrifice it and just utilize the fact that it's a demon, too. Of course, the Preacher of the Schism would have been a much better target. I hope we find our 3rd mana, guys. We're 12 cards in. Sheoldred. Oh, boy. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Glass Casket isn't bad, though. Pick up the other Preacher of the Schism, but we really need some mana, dude. Come on now. Come on, man. If we can... I mean, we're not taking that much damage, are we? Oh, crap. The Sanctuary. Oh, yeah, dude. We're going down to 6. Hey, the 3rd mana. All right. Let's do... We're dead next turn no matter what, aren't we? Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay. We'll establish the Windcrag Siege. We'll call Mardu, just to show the opponent. They ruined everything by killing both of our Voice of Victories, huh? Good game, opponent. Good game. 3 well-placed pieces of spot removal. I could have tried a little harder to play around. We had Sanctifier in hand. We could have played that instead of the 2nd Voice of Victory, for example, or something like that too. So I was just going for it, man. And sometimes it doesn't work out when you do that. Sometimes you really, really have to play around it somehow. Guys, hey, wow. 24 minutes in already. While I have you here in the middle of the video, make sure you check out that description where we do have that Discord link, as well as that Patreon link too, if you're interested in joining either of those up or supporting the channel that way. And also, if you like the video, make sure you actually drop it a like. And if you enjoyed the channel, then consider subscribing as well, because it really does help out the channel. So thank you guys. All right, Encampment is slowing us down here a little bit. We don't have to worry about Encampment right now. Opponent goes first again. I don't know what that's about, but I'm going to keep it. The encampment's slowing us down a little bit. I just don't think we have to worry about it right now. Hey, United Battlefront, cool. I'm going to say it'll be better to just get encampment on 3 because there's a chance we see an untapped source off the top anyways. And I'm going to say... I want to say authority over the creatures right now. How do you guys feel about that? They find their second, they pass it right back. There's our untapped third, so that's good news. So we'll try Sanctifier, see what happens. It didn't stick. How about Headliner? Didn't stick. All right. Huh. Really? Oh, no. Oh, no. I mean, I'll tell you what. Maybe the opponent could see our hand. Because on 3, we were curving out pretty nicely. On 3 with a Warleader's Call, boosting the Headliner and the Sanctifier. Then the Mobilized token coming in, doing an extra damage, also getting boosted from the call. If they didn't have an answer for that, we had another Warleader's Call for turn 4. And then anytime they try to get a chump blocker down or something, it was going to come down tapped too. So we had like extra turns of swinging. So yeah, I don't know. I'd say that was looking good for us either way. I'm not going to put that one as like a test hand. I'm counting that. I'm counting that as a game, even though we barely played. Oh man. It seems interesting so far, right? There's probably some optimization somewhere for this deck list. I can't think of it right now. I will say this, that Caretaker's talent was so important and so vital against that other Boros deck that I feel like 4 of them would make a lot of sense, but like where... I don't know. Well, let's see what Caretaker's talent does with this hand. We're going first. Great news. Good hand. Keeping it. Yes. Yes, dude. The only thing we're missing are the Impact Tremor style abilities, but lots to draw into, so... And this is the type of game too, you know, double Voice of Victory where the Mardu would really come in handy. I'm going to ditch the Mountain. We don't need our third right now on time, so I'm just going for it. We probably should have swung first, but the opponent's tapped out, so we're not going to worry about that right now. It's good practice, though. If it doesn't affect the combat, of course. Asper... Okay, bounce the Nightmare. They just if it's just Nightmare again, that's great news because we get to keep our creatures around an extra turn. I wouldn't mind. All right, well, first of all, we're going to ditch the Sanctifier, I think. I hope. Yeah. Third mana. Okay. That's good, right? But the second Voice of Victory also seems pretty good here, but I'm pretty sure we need to go card draw since they're draining our hand with the Nightmare. We don't want to trade into the Headliner. Well, it's not a trade. We don't want to just swing with Headliner for fun because Headliner's going to have a better swing in its future, I can assume. All right. Card draw. Battlefield Forge. That'll be the discard if they bounce the Nightmare again. Yeah, we could have gotten 1 extra damage through, but we would have lost the Headliner. That doesn't seem great, man. Not when the Esper Pixies know how to remove everything anyways. So we don't want to give them free removal. Okay, I hope they don't bounce one of these, man, because I really want the second voice. Momentum Breaker. Yeah, so it's going to have to be the Headliner anyways, but we would have just lost the Voice of Victory instead if we swung with the Headliner, so... It makes a lot of sense here. Everything made a lot of sense. So we don't have level 2 until we get one of the warriors on the board. Then we can do that. But we'll start with card draw anyways. Swing. Alright, Glass Casket. Oh, I have to remember this time. Yeah. Also, opponents can't cast spells during our turn. Have to remember that ability. It does matter. So Glass Casket picking up the Pixie isn't terrible, right? In fact, we should dump our hand since they have double Nightmares and so many ways to bounce them too. We definitely should dump our hand, right? Yeah. Yeah, we should. I hope that's fine, because it's not entirely unlikely that they could bounce Casket Nightmare back, keep the Pixie, play the Pixie. Sun Pearl. We're gonna go Momentum Breaker. We're gonna lose a voice, so we could have planned around this by copying a Warrior last turn, and then we'd sacrifice that Warrior instead, right? So it doesn't really matter which one we sacrifice here. Okay, Stadium Headliner is not terrible. We're gonna start once again with the swing though, so we get that draw. Impact Tremors, nice. Now we're talking, dude. Now we're talking. Dump our hand, copy a Warrior. They drop a nice thank you, opponent, thank you. All right, now we have the Warrior to sacrifice to the Momentum Breaker instead. This is anyone's game though, for real. For real. Like, we have quite the setup now, but it's anyone's. Momentum Breaker, sacrifice the Warrior. They drop the GGs. I don't know if it's a GG's quite yet. They do concede, however. All right. Good game, opponent. So what were they mathing there, potentially? The, right, so 3 tokens, 3 damage from the Tremors down to 5, 2 blockers. 3 tokens, the level 3 on the talent, boosting those tokens. They block 2 of them. Did they... Bro, is that 5? That's 5 after the 3 from the Tremors. That's 8? Did they math it out that fast, dude? Holy cow. I have not... Okay. All right. Well then. Let's that end on a high note. First of all, taking down Esper Pixie, doing the mobilize thing. I can't complain. I can't complain. The only thing I can complain about is we didn't see the Battlefront. Okay, let's push it. Let's push it. One more. Let's see if we can see the Battlefront. If we do, we do. If we don't, we don't. It is what it is. We'll talk more about the deck list. I especially want to talk about my mana-based decisions too. I've been trying to save the decisions of the mana-base for the end of the video for sure, because not everyone is entirely interested in why I pick certain dual lands, so... Opponent goes first. This is a pretty slow hand. We're going to actually mulligan this time. I'm looking for that Battlefront, that top end. Oh, only 2 mountains now. That's not good. I'm going down to 5. I'm doing it. Okay, it's a little better. It's a little better, but we still don't have a turn 1. We do have early removal now. We'll ditch an encampment. Impact Tremors. We're going to try for survival. Reestablish our hand with the Caretaker's talent. Down to 5 is crazy, dude. It's very hard. It's very hard to do, but I am much more satisfied with these 5 than the previous hands, so... It's a bunny rabbit! Ooh, okay, we're skipping the encampment. We're going for the authority. As they spam the board with bunnies, we'll get some life gain, which could keep us in a little bit longer. Could easily find an untapped source off the top, too, so... Come on. It's not an untapped source, so we do get to see the Dalkovan Encampment holding us up a little bit today, instead of just being like a Plains. All that's very important. It really is. All right, up to 22, and Phineas is gonna wreck our soul in no time, so... Stadium Headliner. We don't even have a red source on the board until we figure out this Verge, huh? So Glass Casket picking up the Phineas is probably a good idea, but now they got the double recruit over here too, so... We're just in a lot of danger. I'll do my best, huh? I still think the Phineas is the grab, although the Pop Hatch recruit isn't terrible either. No, opponent, just wait, like, what? I need 2 more turns to see land, and then I also need another turn to see the Battlefront as well. Yeah, it's too bad we're not seeing the Battlefront today, but patch recruit number 2 going back up to 18, but we're about to take a huge chunk of damage. The Warren Guard gets the boost because they have the tokens from the Offspring. But can we really be upset with little bunny rabbits? No, I don't think so. I don't think so, guys. I'm not upset with the little bunny rabbits. We found the mana. We're good to go. We can try our best to block 4 of the incoming damage. But they have more than that on the board thanks to the... No, we can chump the Warren Guard. Wait. Yeah, chump the Warren Guard. That's 4. And then I guess... Well, let's see what they do. Because they might have something in hand here, too, that completely changes the math. Hop to it. That changes the math a little bit. Because we go back up to 10 now. Maybe they're actually going for setup for the turn. Next turn, go for a nice wide bunny swing. At that point, there's a small chance like we could see Glass Casket and take their 5/4 recruit. Then they get 4 boosts with the recruits. They do go for the swing. So we can take the 5 down to 5 and keep the voice around. And actually, we could take 9. keep everything around. You know what? We might as well, because we're going to die next turn after they swing with the full wide bunny rabbits, right? Ow. Hey, we do find the 4th. One more turn, opponent. One more turn. Just let me find the Battlefront off the top. No, we don't have one more turn. So we're going to go for the really fun swing instead here. Let's actually use the encampment ability. The encampment ability, 2 extra warriors. Like this is actually kind of insane, right? Like any amount of setup on the board with the Tremors or anything. It's actually kind of crazy. Maybe I should have kept the original hand, but no, the original hand was a bunch of 3-drops, right? We would have been completely run over. Yeah, I still love bunny rabbits. We got to revisit it soon. Are there any new cards from the last couple sets that could upgrade Selesnya bunnies? All right, we tried pushing it a little over time to find the Battlefront, but we did not find the Battlefront, and that's going to happen sometimes. Look, it's not a 4 of in the deck list either. It's a 3 of, so here's the deck list again, guys. I like the split of things in here, but it did, like, I don't know. It did feel a little punishing sometimes as far as the mana base goes, but when you look at it, it's not really that greedy at all, and we still have a lot of dual lands. And we, like, you could drop the Fabled Passage, go up more Forge for more dual lands, but I do think that the Pain lands are going to give you some trouble sometimes, even though we got some life gain here with Authority and Hinterland Sanctifier as well. So something else, guys, instead of Glass Casket, in some of those games, in the honorable mentions, of course, I had Sheltered by Ghosts. One of the main issues with Sheltered by Ghosts is you actually need a creature on the board to attach it to. And sometimes that just doesn't happen. So, for example, you get to your 4th turn, the opponent has removed everything. You go United Battlefront, and one of the permanents you see with the United Battlefront is a Sheltered by Ghost, and the other one is a Windcrag Siege, let's say, right? Well, you can play them both down, but the Sheltered by Ghost doesn't have a target because it's an aura that needs to attach to your creature, so then what, right? However, if you actually went Battlefront, found Siege, and a Glass Casket instead, at least the Glass Casket lands and can actually pick up one of their mice or something, right? Or something else important. There's a lot of targets. Mana value 3 or less is no joke. It hits a lot of things. What it didn't hit today is like Shieldred, right? But it does hit a lot of things. It's actually a pretty decent removal spell, especially if you're looking for exile as well. Also, it's an artifact. It's not an enchantment, which means it doesn't get picked up by the opponents, get lost and stuff too, which is pretty important. We've got to talk more about the split in the mana base, guys. If you look over here, we're leaning white, and so a pretty good lean, actually. 78% of the cards have a white and 44% have red. If we look at the mana base, of course, the dual lands work with all of them. Well, not necessarily. We're getting there, though. Hold on. then there's our mountains, there's our plains. So we have like this even split between white sources and red sources. However, the verge initially is white. So until you have a mountain or a plains. And at that point, Fabled Passage also helping you find a mountain or a plains. So there's the split, right? We have a 10 white sources and 6 red sources, but then eventually Verge is just an excellent dual land. Now, the encampment, I was really hoping it wasn't going to hold us up today, but we only have 6 mountains in here, plus the Fabled Passage. Outside of that, we do see successful utility lands coming in tapped in certain builds. Like I had Restless Bivouac in the honorable mentions for a pretty good reason. So, you know, Bivouac's coming out tapped no matter what. Encampment, if you think of it as coming out tapped no matter what, but then every now and then, hey, little bonus, it actually didn't come out tapped this game, right? I don't know. If you think of it that way, then it makes sense. But I could also see dropping this down to a 1 of. And guys, also, I do think the 24 mana is pretty necessary. It's pretty heavy. 9 3-drops, for example, that's a lot. Like some games, you might actually want to find 6 mana on your 6th turn to play 2 3-drops from your hand, especially if you're keeping nice and stocked up with Caretaker's talent. It felt very weird not playing with all 4 Caretaker's talent, but what are we dropping, dude? Maybe United Battlefront down to 2? The problem is we didn't see Battlefront today, so I don't know. I don't know if that's a good idea. What if Battlefront is like a huge swing every time we play it or something? I don't know. Multiple things on the board, even if you're seeing, I mean, if you're spending 4 mana and you're grabbing stuff out of the build rather than playing it out of your hand, you find a Glass Casket and an Impact Tremors. That's not like the greatest thing to hit, but it's 2 cards from your deck list on the board, ready to go, and Glass Casket picking something up too. I'd say worst case scenario would be like Authority of Consuls and an Impact Tremors, but tough decisions here, man. Also, I could just see more generic dual land packed into the mana base too. Just be careful, like encampment wants the mountains down, so depending on how many basics you drop, you might start to mess up the encampment. I mean, the encampment can probably be dropped to 1 anyways. I don't know. I'm pretty split on this, actually. I am, because that bottom ability, in theory, should really come in handy, especially if you fizzled out elsewhere. If you fizzled out in your hand, but you still have 1 creature to attack with on the board, this could potentially be the game-winning swing, especially with the setup with Warleader's Call and Tremors and everything. And Warleader's Call also feels like it should be a 4 of, but I don't really want to get rid of the Windcrag Siege. Like, I don't want to drop this down to 1, go up 4th Call, 4th Caretaker's talent, because the Siege felt pretty good today too, especially against that mid-range game where it was essential to just keep on pooping out tokens. And they dropped a board wipe too, but the game kept going. We kept turning out goblins. We weren't able to utilize the haste, but there's going to be a lot of games where you are able to utilize the haste. So I like the split of 3 of everything. What do you guys think? How do we feel about Sanctifier too? If you don't like the Sanctifier and you drop it, you should probably go up more creatures, because we still want something. We want to be able to play creatures out of our hands sometimes. So also just helping us survive early on too. So I don't know, man. I'm split. I'm back and forth. I feel like if we played 5 more games, I feel like we could win 4 out of the 5, you know? But at the same time, it could go the opposite route too. So like, this might be one of those weird oddball deck lists. It's like right on the line of 50%, which actually means, I mean, 50% still relatively solid, honestly, with how brutal the meta is if you're playing something a little off meta. That being said too, we're playing a lot of powerful cards, powerful on meta cards too, like that Caretaker's talent. And Voice of Victory does seem pretty darn good. Was there any instances today where our opponents not being able to cast things on our turn actually mattered? I wasn't paying too much attention, but before, when I played with Voice of Victory, I was scared of things like Elspeth Smite taking it out, which was just silly, right? Because the opponents can't cast things so on our turn. So Elspeth Smite obviously not picking up the Voice of Victory is pretty darn good. I don't know if I did it today, but I keep overlooking it. I would not doubt it. I would not doubt it at all if I overlooked it again. It's just like It's like Mobilize 2 is good enough to play with anyways. The bottom ability is just really an extra bonus. Frontline Rush, the extra tokens kind of came in handy, especially against that mid-range match. Is there anything else here, guys? I don't know. Yeah, I think that the main things I would consider is dropping Battlefront down to 2, the Siege down to 2, 4th Call, 4th Talent. That makes sense to me. However, I'm going to keep it all the same. I like a bunch of 3-ofs. So, yeah. And then also maybe rearranging the mana base, dropping an encampment, going up something else, going up I guess a plains at that point would totally be fine. Encampment's also a rare too. I didn't talk about how budget friendly this is. It's really not budget friendly. There's a lot of rares. Our entire top end is rare. The Voice of Victory is rare, and Headliner is rare. Also, Authority is rare. Oh dear, right? And then we have uncommons and commons. And then, of course, the dual land, the encampment, all that is rare too. So put it on the do not craft list, guys. There's probably a better way to put together Boros Mobilize, but this was a pretty fun one, and it's kind of interesting to build around the Mobilize as well as the United Battlefront too. Just too bad we couldn't see the Battlefront, so. Okay, guys, enough rambling, huh? Let me know what you thought of the deck list down in the comments. Are you split on it like I am? Because I'm pretty split. I don't know. Like something, it feels like something needs changed, but at the same time, I'm looking at it and it's just like, no, I like the curve. I like what it's trying to do. So I guess I'm not changing anything. All right, yeah. If you made it this far into the video, for real, y'all are champions. I super duper appreciate you, and I will see you in the next video.